we'll just give it some time for people to join. This is great. We're not even 1 minute into this and we already have over 500 people on with us today. So as you all are coming in, please introduce yourselves in the chat, share your name, your pronouns, and where you're joining us from. And we'll get started in another minute or two. This is great. We have people from all over the US, California, North Carolina, Maryland, San Diego, Chicago, Ohio. Thank you all so much for joining. And for those of you who've just joined now, we're just sharing our names, pronouns, and our where we're calling in from in the chat, just to see the range of people we have with us today. And we'll get started in 1 more minute. All right. Amazing. We're going to go ahead and get started. Seeing people joining. We have over 700 people on with us right now for this power hour. Welcome, everyone. If you've just joined, again, please share your name, pronouns, and where you're calling in from in the chat, just so we can see the range of people we have here with us today. And if you'd like to tell us why you've chosen to show up today, that would be great too. We have a lot of people in the room, so if you have a question, please try to use the Q&A feature in the Zoom so that we can follow your questions. Otherwise, we will try really, really hard to keep track of the chat, but it is hard with a big group. So please use the Q&A feature if you have any questions that come up throughout this session. My name is Celine. I'm with the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. Thank you for joining our Power Hour today. Our demands and our focus today is really about ending the starvation, the US and Israeli starvation of Gaza as part of the genocide, and to block the bombs. And we want to thank today's co-sponsors, Rising Majority, IMEU, JVP Action, the Adala Justice Project, Mothers for Ceasefire, AROC Action. We have obviously the US Campaign for Palestinian Rights, and we have all of you with us today. We have close to 900 people on already. And we are really happy to see this amount of people 21 months into this genocide continuing to take action and continuing to show that the world stands with Gaza, the world stands with Palestine, and the world rejects Zionism. So thank you all so much for joining. We will be dropping links that you can use in the chat throughout this power hour. So just do your best to keep track of what we're sending in the chat. Again, if you have questions, please use the Q&A feature. And maybe we can go to the slide after the next one. And just to share some ground rules, this is an anti-oppressive space. So any racism, Zionism, sexism, Islamophobia, any oppressive language in the chat will result in automatic removal from this power hour. Any harassment will not be tolerated, and that will result in automatic removal. And we do want you all to connect with each other, but just please be mindful of the size of this event and only use the chat to try to respond to prompts and questions. If you want to follow up with a specific participant, you can reply to them directly. And if you experience any issues, any harassment, anything like that, you can just let us know. And if you have questions, please use the Q&A feature. All right, so yeah, we can go to the next slide. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the agenda and then get into it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the conditions on the ground right now and kind of talk through like the architects of this genocide, the institutions that are complicit. After that, we're going to pass it to my colleague Iman, who's going to just talk a little bit about the JRDs and pressuring elected officials. Then we're going to get into taking action, making calls, sending emails. After that, we'll have Rand with us to talk about a Congress video campaign from the Adala Justice Project, and then we'll get into next steps. We highly encourage you all to stay on for the full power hour. It might not be a full hour, but we just have a lot of resources and things that we want to share with you all. So just encourage you all to stay for as long as you can. And we are now over 1,000 people on the call. So really excited to be taking action with you all. So over the past few weeks, we've witnessed the US and Israeli engineered famine reach a crisis point, with 85% of Palestinians in Gaza having entered the fifth and final stage of malnutrition. We know that this starvation, this famine is a weapon of war. This is a tool of the genocide. The siege is a tool of the genocide. And we want to kind of talk about like who are the architects of this genocide. And what Gaza has exposed to us is really clearly like what the true nature of Zionism is and the role of the United States. And we know that this, U.S. Israeli genocide of the Palestinian people in Gaza, which has used the blockade and the famine as weapons of war, has been enabled by several media institutions, politicians, weapons companies, tech companies, logistics corporations, consulting companies, Zionist organizations, and so many more. And it has really been their relentless funding, their justification, their suppression of resistance, and their manufacturing of consent for this genocide that allowed this genocide to continue and to happen to begin with. So I want to highlight the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. As people in Gaza face unprecedented levels of famine and mass starvation, our job is to push for the delivery of aid, not arms. And we've seen aid turn into a weapon of war by the US-backed and Israeli occupation forces designed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is a Zionist and imperialist scheme to ethnically cleanse and massacre Palestinians. The GHF is a shadow organization. It has no accountability to governmental or to international law. It is working in complete coordination with the Zionist entity, and they've set up aid sites as a means to concentrate Palestinians into designated quote unquote humanitarian zones, literally concentration camps in the south of Gaza, forcing people to either leave the north or risk acute starvation to remain. And Palestinians in Gaza have reported and filmed several accounts of scenes of people getting shot at these aid sites, getting attacked, unarmed people trying to get access to small amounts of aid that we've seen even be laced by the IOF with drugs. And the GHF emerged basically after 2 years of the US and Israel working to discredit and undermine and defund UNRWA, the UNRWA, to develop a new aid distribution model that serves Zionist and US interests. And this foundation was developed in coordination with between US defense and intelligence officials and Israeli officials. And again, they're focusing aid in the south of Gaza to try to displace the Palestinian population in service of Zionist military goals, which they're still trying to achieve 21 months later. And we've also exposed the role of organizations like the Boston Consulting Group, which developed the financial blueprint for the GHF and proposed the plan to expel 500,000 Palestinians from Gaza. And now, because of international pressure, the Boston Consulting Group is trying to distance itself from the GHF, but this remains just as much of a target because we know that, just for good PR, we're not going to let them escape accountability. We know that these institutions have played such a huge role in this genocide, and it's our job to expose and to confront these institutions that have sustained the genocide and the continuation of it. So we're putting together this Power Hour today as part of a broader week of action. We really encourage you all to host your own Power Hours. It's very easy. Just gather your friends, your organizations, make calls together, send emails together, and organize your own actions this week or attend one in your area. This is really the moment to mobilize at the GHF or BCG offices, their affiliates, at your politicians' offices. Because this week the goal is to really mobilize and to start a sustained mobilization and confrontation of complicit actors in Israel's ongoing siege and genocide that has put 2 million Palestinians on the brink of death by starvation. And this is also the moment to expose the complicity and to mobilize at Jordanian and Egyptian consulates, to expose the betrayal of these the Arab normalizing regimes and their leaders, and to demand an end to Arab state normalization. We've seen these leaders repress their own people for mobilizing and organizing for Palestine, for Gaza. Airdrops are not enough. The gates of Rafah must be opened. We must pressure governments and institutions to cut diplomatic and institutional ties with Israel. And this week of action is not the end, but the beginning of sustained actions that we need to continue until we see an end to this genocide. So our responsibility to Gaza, which has exposed so many things for us. It has made clear what Zionism truly is. It has made clear the role of the United States. It is, and it has become the convergence point for all of our movements. That's why we say Gaza is the compass. It's our responsibility to reject demobilization, to continue to get involved and sustain our mobilizations and our campaigns so that we can see a liberated Palestine. So our demands here today really are to end the siege on Gaza, to demand an arms embargo, a dismantling of the GHF, and the delivery of unconditional demilitarized aid into Gaza immediately. So with that, I'm going to just pass it to my colleague Iman, also from the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, to just kind of talk to us about why it's important to keep up the pressure to our elected officials, and then we'll get into our actions today.
Thank you so much, Celine. And it's I'm just absolutely like humbled by the amount of people who are on this call today. There are over 1,200 people who have joined us. And like, just a reminder to us that I think most of you understand that the moment to speak up has been yesterday. And I think that we're here today to talk about all of this and to continue the action and put the pressure on Congress, because this is an entity and an institution that is extremely critical and has the ability to completely end this genocide immediately. One of the things that we've been trying to do as an organization is continue amplifying the need to pressure Congress, because they are really the ones who can both stop the transfer of weapons, they could stop all and they could end all military funding to Israel immediately. And so today we're going to spend a lot of time just having conversations with these members of Congress and pressuring them with these demands and ensuring that they take up what it is that we're exactly asking them to do, because the stages of genocide we are in across Gaza at this moment could not get any worse. We are literally what researchers have put out is the final stages of genocide. And there are little bodies that are in Gaza that can be saved if we decide to actually get the adequate aid in necessary. I think it's really important to also just kind of amplify just why we constantly push for members of Congress and continue to put them on the radar. One, right now, Palestine is a litmus test. This is an opportunity for members of Congress to not object to what it is that we're asking of them, and to ensure that we get folks on record to take a position on Palestine. If they haven't spoken up, the time to speak up is now. And we'll do all the rest of that work later, but I think it's really critical for us to continue pushing these people to take the positions that we're asking them to take. And again, the US Congress has the ability to stop sending any sorts of weapons over to Israel. They can hold Israel accountable by establishing sanctions. They can stop sending any sort of military funding. And there's enough research and enough information out there to prove that US funding and the United States in general, the US administration between Joe Biden's administration and the Donald Trump administration has been complicit in supporting and aiding this genocide. And so today we're going to continue amplifying that, continue amplifying the demands that Celine so eloquently expressed, and to ensure that people understand the urgency of this moment. One thing that I wanted to amplify that I think is really critical for us is that while we also ensure that we push for the end and the deconstruction of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is an absolutely abysmal institution that has been supported by US members of Congress, is that we need to ensure that we also stop the transfer of weapons. And there are opportunities right now in the Senate to get that to happen. There's SJ Res 34 and SJ Res 41. SJ Res 34 at this moment includes $676 million in arms transfers of US-made 1,000-pound bombs and JDAM guidance kits, which have been used repeatedly in Israeli airstrikes. And then there's SJ Res 41, which includes the sale of 20,000 fully automatic Colt rifles to Israeli police, which have been used in the settler violence we've seen being used across the West Bank. This vote is going to come up very, very soon. And so as we speak to our members of Congress today, specifically our senators, it's going to be crucial for us to amplify the need for them to vote yes on both of these JRDs, they're called Joint Resolution of Disapprovals, to make sure that we do not allow these sorts of weapons to continuously be sent. Now, it doesn't stop here. We know that we're calling for the end of all weapons. We're calling for the end of all US military funding. But these are the opportunities and the initiatives that we have at hand now that we're going to continue amplifying and encouraging members of Congress, and rather demanding members of Congress to take on. And so appreciate everyone here today. I hope you're fired up and you bring that passion that brought you onto this call today into your conversations with your member of Congress.
Thank you so much, Iman. And again, like we're seeing with this week of action, a diversity of tactics. We're here on this Power Hour making calls. We also need to be in the streets mobilizing, because these mass mobilizations show where public opinion is at. It exposes what is happening. It shows that there's sustained pressure, and it shows our people in Gaza that the world stands with them. And we also need to be supporting campaigns, ongoing campaigns to go after the corporations that are responsible, that are complicit in this genocide. So we need to do all of the tactics that we can, and we're here in this Power Hour to do one part of that, which is to put pressure on our electeds. So with that, we're going to just kind of show you all the action tools that we have today. So we have a call tool that we're going to start with. So first, we're going to make calls, and then we're going to send emails, and then we have an action to support Chris Smalls, who I'll talk about after. So we're just going to show you all this call tool, and then we're gonna use this tool to make calls to our reps. And I want to introduce Sara Ramirez, who is a Tony Award winner who has made history by playing the longest running Latina LGBTQ character on TV, Dr. Callie Torres, on ABC's hit Grey's Anatomy. Sara is also a core member of Black Trans Liberation Kitchen in NYC, has collaborated with Artists Against Apartheid, with ACLU, Working Families Party, Endelon, PYM, Familia, Transgender Law Center, and several other organizations. And currently, they are co-producing Cecilia Gentili's Red Ink and Edinburgh's Fringe Festival after a successful run in New York. So I just want to call up Sara who's going to talk to us about taking action and kind of demonstrate for us these calls to our Congress people. So yeah, we can go ahead and spotlight Sara, and feel free to take it away.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to be a part of this collective. The past 2 years have only deeply entrenched in me the fact that our movements for liberation are all connected. I am with Artists Against Apartheid. I am anti-genocide. Like Aman said, Palestine is a litmus test, and I believe it's our moral obligation to push back on the people who are supposed to be working for us, supposed to be working for humanity. So I'm going to go ahead and call my Senator Kirsten Gillibrand right now. And we'll see how that goes.
Thank you for calling the Washington, D.C. office of Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York. If you are receiving this message, you have either called outside of our normal business hours or all of our lines are currently busy. Please leave a message after the tone and we will attend to your call as soon as possible. Thank you for calling.
Hello, my name is Sada, and I'm a constituent of Senator Gillibrand's. I'm calling to demand immediate action be taken to stop the inhumane starvation of 2 million Palestinians in Gaza right now. Israel's been deliberately blocking the entry of aid into Gaza since early March in an attempt to starve, kill, or remove every Palestinian person in the Strip. Even baby formula hasn't been allowed in. This is a war crime, and it's being funded with our US tax dollars. I'm not okay with that. I'm urgently asking the senator to take 2 immediate actions. The first one is to publicly demand that Israel open all border crossings for unrestricted humanitarian aid entry into Gaza now, and directly contact the State Department and the White House demanding the same. The second thing is for her to vote yes on both of Senator Sanders' joint resolutions of disapproval today, SJ Res 34 and SJ Res 41, to block Trump's weapons sales to the Israeli military that will further enable its genocide. Thank you so much for your time. So that's what it looks like to leave a voice note, but maybe you all will get someone live.
Thank you so much, Sara. Yes, definitely join Sara. Make your calls. We're dropping the call tool you can use in the chat. We'll take about 10 minutes to let everyone make their calls. You'll probably send a voicemail. You might get someone live. If you are able to talk to someone, please let us know in the chat how it goes. And we'll bring you all back in 10 minutes. We won't play any music so that you all can focus on your calls, but we will try to be answering questions in the chat. Just try to use the Q&A feature if you have like something really urgent to ask us. But again, here's the call tool. We're sending it. Please use it, make your calls. We'll come back at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern. And we'll come back for our next steps. If you aren't able to get through to anyone, leave a voicemail. Don't hang up, leave a voicemail, and keep making your calls, and we'll come back in 8 minutes. So just to answer a few of your questions, you can use this call tool throughout the week as well, but highly encourage you all to use it right now. And we will be sending emails after. So we're going to do this in steps. Right now, we're focusing on making the calls, and we'll come back in 5 minutes to send emails. We're dropping a backup link in the chat. If the initial call tool doesn't work for you, we have another link for a call tool and also a phone number. So please try to use any of these links that we're sharing in the chat. Thank you. Sounds like some of you are getting through to people. Sounds like we're jamming the phone lines. And again, we're dropping backup links in the chat. We'll come back in 2 minutes to send emails. Right, we'll bring it back in 1 minute. Hopefully you all have been able to make your calls. Again, we're sending all the resources in the chat and trying to answer your questions live as well. Thanks for your patience, everyone. All right, we'll bring it back. Seeing that a lot of people have finished making their calls. Thank you all so much. It seems like we've really jammed the phone lines. Many of you were actually able to get through to your offices and talk to people, or at least leave messages. We're going to move into the next step. Again, you can continue to use these tools throughout the day, throughout the week, and we will be sending them out in a follow-up email. But let's go to the next, or actually maybe we can screen share first the email tool, and then we'll screen share this. So we have, next up, we want to, and we'll drop this link in the chat as well. We want to send emails. So we have a link where you can easily just plug in your information and it'll send an email to your representatives. This is making the same demands. It's asking your representative to support the Block the Bombs Act. So we're going to drop this all in the chat. If you finished making your calls, please move on to this next step and send an email. It's going to be really easy. Just use this link. And we'll also screen share the slide that has the email language itself, so you can see that. And if you finish with all of these steps, before we move on to the next thing, you can send these links to your friends, to your group chats, your family, encourage other people to use this time to take action. So please circulate these links if you have a bit of extra time. Again, we'll send these links out as a follow-up, but please, if you can send your emails now, that would be amazing. And we're showing you all here the email language. So please use the email link after you finish making your calls. We'll take maybe 5 minutes to send our emails. We'll come back in about 2 minutes. Again, we're sending the tools in the chat. You can just put in your information for the email tool and send an email. The JRD's vote is tonight between 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. So please really try to push and use these tools, circulate them before this vote happens. So this is a critical time for us to use these materials, to send our emails, to make our calls before tonight. So please, again, if you finish with all these steps, again, we're dropping the links in the chat. We're going to send it as a follow-up, but please also circulate these links to your friends, your family, your group chats, your organizations, and encourage them to do the same. We'll come back in 1 minute. All right, everyone, we're gonna bring it back. Again, the joint resolutions of disapproval will be voted on tonight between 7 to 9 p.m. And we're gonna move on to the next step. Just want to resend the email tool and the call tool in the chat. Sorry, all the chat is going by very quickly. But you can just click the email tool, put in your information, and it'll automatically send a email to your rep. So we're just gonna move to, again, we'll send all of this out in a follow-up email. So you should have all these links and the steps after this as well. We wanna take a bit of time also to take some action to support Chris Smalls. Chris Smalls is a labor organizer and a founder of the Amazon Labor Union. He joined the Gaza Freedom Flotilla aboard the Handala ship on July 12th as part of an effort to carry humanitarian aid into Gaza and to break the siege and stand with the Palestinian people. And on July 26th, as the Handala neared Gaza, it was violently intercepted by Israeli occupation forces who boarded the vessel, arrested participants, and have now singled out, kidnapped, and brutalized Chris Smalls for daring to confront the genocidal blockade imposed on Gaza. So we want to demand his immediate release from the Israeli occupation forces. And we don't have a link here, but we do have this information here on the slide. Please call and tag the US Department of State and demand the immediate release of Chris Smalls. You can find all the information here on the slide. We're also dropping the phone number in the chat. And let's call and show our support. Let's try to push for his release and uplift his message, which is to break the siege on Gaza to end the genocide. So we're gonna send all of the tools in the chat again. Let's take like maybe 5 to 7 minutes to do this, take this action for Chris Smalls, and then we'll come back for other ways to take action. Thank you all for moving through this. Again, we'll send out all these materials as a follow-up and encourage you all to, again, circulate all these resources. Yes, and just to reiterate, Chris Smalls was on the Freedom Flotilla ship called the Hamdallah, and the ship was intercepted violently by the Israeli occupation forces, and he's been kidnapped and brutalized by the Israeli occupation forces. So we're calling to demand his immediate release. And again, we'll drop the information in the chat. We'll come back in 5 minutes. If you can't get through on the phone, there's also Twitter accounts linked here on the slide. So you all can see this on the slide directly that we're screen sharing. And we'll come back in about 4 minutes or so. And there's no formal script here. We're just calling to demand his immediate release. If you've done all the steps, made calls, sent emails, called for Chris Smalls, or posted about him, please circulate these resources to your friends and family, circulate them in your chats, encourage people to use these resources to do the same. We'll bring it back in 3 minutes. Again, you can also tweet at the State Department if the calls don't work. Again, you can use the information on the slide to also tweet at the State Department. You can also make a post about Chris Smalls. If the calls don't go through, there's other options for you. It's all on the slide here. We'll come back in a couple of minutes. All right, everyone, we'll come back in 1 minute. Thank you all for moving through all these steps with us. Again, we'll send out the materials in a follow-up email, but it's important for us to use this time together to jam the phone lines and flood our reps' inboxes, voicemails with calls from us. We'll send out one more round of the links in the chat, and we'll come back in 1 minute for our next steps and action items. All right, thank you all so much. We're gonna bring it back. We've made calls, we've sent emails, we've demanded the release of Chris Smalls. We're gonna move now to, I wanna invite Rand from the Data Justice Project to talk to us about a Congress video campaign. And then we're gonna close out with some final next steps, additional ways to take action. And again, we'll send out all the materials in the follow-up email. Thanks for your patience and your participation today. Okay, Rand, go ahead.
Thank you, Celine, USCPR, SADA, everybody, all the co-sponsors, everyone for being here. My name is Rand. As Celine said, I work at Adela Justice Project. I'm on the creative team. You might recognize my face from the internet, so that's why I'm here to explain social media to you all about what to do in this moment. So I think what's really important to recognize is that a lot of people care and want to do something, and not a lot of people know what to do. So what this lovely coalition has done is giving people something very actionable to do. And the truth is that since, I guess, a couple of years ago, at this point, a little under that, people have been making calls. And now we have a new wave of people, and we want to encourage those people to make calls as well. And that includes everybody on this call, the people who have been making calls. So we know it's happening. The point of the social media campaign is to show that it's happening. So you don't have to have a lot of followers. You could literally have like 10 people on your page. It doesn't matter. The whole idea is we want the internet to be inundated with everything related to Gaza. And this is an actionable step that people can take to not just feel horrified and sit in their seats and doom scroll all day. So, and as you can all see, everyone who was able to get these calls done, I did them myself just now. Super easy, takes like 5 minutes out of your day. For the video campaign, Sada, who's on the call, kicked it off for us a couple days ago. And, have fun with it. Just like, make your call, use your own script, use the script that we've provided as long as it's along the same talking lines. You can introduce your own passion however you want, especially since it's on a video. And gather your friends. You're having dinner at your friend's house. Put up that camera, grab one phone, and just everybody make those calls, post it online, right? The idea is we want to encourage people. We want to show people it's an easy thing to do. It only takes a few minutes, and it does have an impact. So something else, after Sada posted their video, Mary Lambert, who's an artist, posted one, and they came up with this cool thing like a challenge so you could tag somebody. So the AJP team actually did one yesterday, and we're going to release it. I'm not going to tell y'all who we tagged because they have to agree to it first. Everybody's kind of running on limited capacity now. But it's just to show that we're all getting together and we're doing this. You don't have to even do it by yourself if you don't want to. I'm going to a community dinner tonight that we do every week, and you bet you're blank that I'm going to force everybody to get on this link and make those calls tonight. So like I said, really the goal of the social media campaign is just to amplify what's already happening. It's not performative. There's nothing performative about doing everything we can to end a genocide. And right now our biggest enemy, and it has been one of our biggest enemies aside from the Zionist state itself, is media, right? So we're counteracting a lot of media narratives here. We don't have to get into any of their arguments. We just have to say we're against this. We're demanding we're against it. And we're showing that in the streets. We're showing on the phone call. We're showing it everywhere. So this is one of many facets. Make sure you're making those calls. And if you feel shy about posting it, I would definitely encourage you, as somebody who, is a few years into being online. It's not that bad. It's okay. It's going to be all right. No one is that self-conscious about you as you are about yourself. So get over yourself and, post something. Even if you don't post online, send it to your friends, send it to your group chat. Be like, I'm doing this. I'm actually doing this. Will you do it, please, as well? Go over to your grandma's house, whatever. So that's really all I have to add. and tag us, tag AJP. We'll repost you on our story, whatever. Like, let's just make some noise. We want to make as much noise as possible. And the internet, as we know, everybody's on their phones. So we need to break the algorithm wall every single day as best as we can. And that's the strategy behind this. So thank you all again, and appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Rand, and really, really agree with the point you made about the media. Again, these major media outlets have literally like manufactured consent for genocide. It's their justification of the genocide that has allowed it to continue. Like these are, yeah, I don't even want to say the word complicit. I mean, these institutions play active roles in sustaining the genocide, and it's important for us to show and our people in Gaza are watching. Like, it's important for us to show that the world stands with them, and again, to use as many tactics as we possibly can to end this genocide. So, again, we'll send out all the information in a follow-up email, but just want to go through like 3 or 2 just like upcoming actions. We can screen share just this toolkit we have. It just has some information on how to pressure your elected officials. Want to encourage you all to also just host your own local power hours. Again, it's pretty easy. Like Rand said, they're going to community dinner. They're going to just have people like get on their phones. You can gather your friends virtually or in person and just like spend 20 minutes together, sending emails, using the links, making calls. And this toolkit, which we'll also send out and drop in the chat, has just some material. You can it's like includes a resource to email your congressperson, some stuff that you can share on social media. We have our city council divestment toolkit if you're planning more of like a longer term campaign. You can check out our Congress scorecard on here. And just, some steps to other options for pressuring, electeds and city council members around ending the siege on Gaza, demanding an arms embargo, and end to the genocide. And we also want to, again, just like re-uplift this is a week of action, July 28th to August 1st. If you don't have an action happening near you, you can plan one. Again, this is about exposing and confronting the institutions that play a role in this genocide. It's about rejecting demobilization. It's about, again, keeping up the pressure from our movement. Again, we've seen multiple institutions, like I said before, political and media personalities try to backtrack to, pretend like they're now concerned about the conditions in Gaza. But we have to remember these are conditions that they created or that they worked so hard to justify or that they funded. So our job really is to refuse to allow Zionism to rehabilitate itself at all, and to refuse to allow any institution that played a role in funding, supporting, justifying the genocide to escape accountability. Because again, it's their actions that brought us to this point. So, we have here, there's actions at Jordanian and Egyptian embassies. There's actions at GHF or Boston Consulting Group offices. We're seeing actions at different politicians' offices, media outlets. It's going to just be important for us to plan actions this week and to continue to sustain them until we see an end to this genocide and end to the siege on Gaza. So, and then finally, just want to also go to the next item, which is the People's Conference for Palestine. Like part of the thing that these media outlets also try to do is portray our movement as a fringe movement. But we know that we're a mass movement. And also another tool that they're using to try to silence us is repression. And it's important for us, in the face of repression, in the face of these lies about our movement and about our struggle, to come together for a mass convergence at the People's Conference for Palestine, to convene as organizers, as community members across the Palestine movement and other movements, to learn from our experiences over the past 21 months, to learn from each other, to develop our strategies, our next steps as a movement, to strengthen our relationships. There will be cultural programming, kids programming, panel discussions, workshops that are all going to provide a lot of good analysis on the current moment, on the state of the movement, on the state of the region. And it's going to be happening in Detroit, August 29th to the 31st. And the theme is Gaza is the compass. Again, because Gaza has become a convergence point for all of our movements, has exposed Zionism and imperialism for all of us, has opened a lot of people's eyes to the way that their lives are conditioned by imperialism, the way that Zionism operates, and has also unified us all against these forces. So and together. So it's going to be a really important space to come together as community members and as organizers. And we really, really encourage you all to register, to try to be there. you can go to peoplesconferenceforpalestine.org/register and join us at the People's Conference. And we really hope to see you there. That's all for us today. Again, please keep using these links. We'll send them out after. Please use them. Continue to keep up the pressure, continue to mobilize, organize, join campaigns, start some, plan your own actions. And we hope to see you at the People's Conference. We hope to see you all taking action in the streets, on the media campaigns, the social media campaigns online. And we'll see you all at the next one. And again, it's important to keep up as much pressure as we can and use every tactic that we have access to push for an end to this genocide and the liberation of Palestine. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sara. Thank you, Rand. Thank you, everyone, for joining.